My name is R. Crosby Lyles, and this is News from the Can. Earlier this morning, we got the robo-call from Alachua County letting us know that there was a mandatory evacuation for mobile homes, people living in mobile homes, manufactured homes, and in low-lying, flood-prone areas. And then they also got some mandatory evacuation for anyone who believes that their home, the structure that they're living in is not safe. So that's kind of a weird thing, but that's Alachua County right there. Marion County, of course, is down here. And a lot of people in north central Florida live in the woods in trailers. And it's not necessarily that they're poor. It's just that they have, 5 acres, 10 acres, whatever. They have horses and, maybe a little bit of livestock, or maybe they have a small farm or something like that. And they just, they've had the property for a long time. They might even have a house somewhere else or whatever. But there are people who live basically, in the woods, and they live in trailers. And this evacuation notice puts another element, in the discussion, besides the storm surge. And of course, the storm surge in this hurricane is the big story, because that storm surge is probably going to be pretty significant and deadly. But the thing about it is, there's another danger here. And a lot of people living up in the sticks, they don't really want to leave their, they're, good old boys, that, been through some hurricanes, been through some stuff in Florida, and, they're not really ready to leave their house. And might be a trailer, but it's home. That's the homestead. But this is the big danger. If you're living in the woods in the middle of the state, your trailer might not get, torn apart by a tornado, or it might not get blown away by the winds, but one of the big dangers with it is trees falling on your home in the middle of the night when you're asleep, and people get killed like that. Wood frame houses are much better equipped usually to withstand a medium-sized, moderate tree. There's another one there. Obviously a tree falling on your house is going to do some damage, but mobile homes are just really, really not capable of withstanding much in terms of weight. And the thing about it is, we have a lot of oak trees in Florida. Jeez, look at this. That's lovely. The whole thing's turned upside down. See, that's from wind. So, but when you're in a landlocked area where there's a lot of woods and things like that, you really don't think that your mobile home is going to blow away. That's not really the issue. But the big issue is when you have a lot of rain, and we're expected to have a lot of rain, and those old oak trees, they get older and they start getting waterlogged. They get a lot of water. Especially if they've got ferns and things growing on them and things like that. Those old oak trees, man. And even your pine trees, the root systems, they start, the lots of moisture in the soil causes the ground to loosen up, and then you add some wind on top of that, and those trees start coming over. And when they do, well, here's one right here. See that? That tree has just cut that trailer right in half. And I was going to say, I don't know what you could do to really combat that. The thing to do really, the best thing to do is not to be in your mobile home. Get out of there, go to, wherever they have some sort of a shelter, or live with a friend who's got something a little more durable than your mobile home. Because this is one of the big dangers right here, and people get killed all the time from trees falling, limbs falling, and those big oak trees, man, those branches are big and heavy. They can be big and heavy, and they're wonderful trees. They're sprawling trees that. God, look at this dude here. Yeah. Been there, done that. I used to do that for a living. As a matter of fact, I rode out Andrew. down in Miami Shores, the Miami Shores area. And we got, a small taste in the middle of the night with I guess it must have been a supercell or something that came through, and it was like a freight train going by the side of the house. It was the most harrowing experience I've ever been through in my life. But anyway, the search that I did here for this was hurricane tree mobile home. That's it. And so there it is. But yeah, the ground becomes saturated, the roots get loosened up, trees can, you add some wind, the trees get blown over, the oak trees, the limbs are big, and they soak up water and they get heavier, and then they'll add some wind to that, and they, the branches will break and land on your mobile home, and if you're in there sleeping in your bed, in the middle of the night, and a branch or a tree comes down on you, that's not a good thing. So this is a good reason not to be in your mobile home. And I was thinking, well, maybe if you had to stay in your mobile home, maybe you might try sleeping on the floor. That might give you a little bit of an edge. But that's not a recommend. I certainly wouldn't make that, I'm not going to recommend that anybody actually stay in their mobile home. Best thing to do is to get out. But because you see this right here, if you were sleeping on the floor, that's it's bad news. So at the and of course there's tornadoes. You have plenty of tornadoes. That come through with these hurricanes and tropical storms and things, and mobile home is just not a good structure to be in to ride out a hurricane. It's a terrible structure to be in. I know people who do it, who have done it, and it's not wise. So I just want to throw that out there, and again, the reason I say that is because there's a lot of people that live in the woods in their mobile home, and I think they think that, well, because there's lots of trees sort of blocking the wind and things like that, maybe they think that their home is safe from being, torn apart by a tornado or whatever. I don't know if they really think that or not, but the trees, when a tree falls on your mobile home, that's bad news. So there is that. And another thing too, I want to real quick, you see this flooding here. There was some significant rainfall a number of years ago, 2011, I believe, in Live Oak. Live Oak flooded. The Live Oak area flooded. And the flooding happened very quickly, in the span of a couple of hours. They had one of these rain bombs, I guess. And in a span of a couple of hours, it's a pastor that I knew in North Florida. They had water up to their, and I think they might have been living in a mobile home or something close to it, maybe a manufactured home or something like that. But in a short amount of time, they had water all the way up to the front door, and they had to leave. They had to wade out of this place. So you definitely want to watch out for those flood-prone areas. This storm may have a significant amount of rain, and of course. You don't want to have any candles burning or anything like that, and the reason for that is because, you see a fire here, but fire in a hurricane is, with the wind blowing, there was, during Hurricane Andrew, there was a lumber yard. It was actually a marine lumber yard. They had a lot of marine lumber, a lot of marine plywood and things like that. And they had a fire in the middle of the storm, which is kind of weird, but I guess there was maybe a short. The power line had snapped or something and caused a short, and the place caught on fire. And the thing about it is that a fire in a hurricane, with all that wind pumping air into the fire, they just burns whatever. It will just burn a structure right to the ground, essentially. because it's just like, it's like a bellows, blowing on the fire. So you don't want to have any kind of candles or open flame or anything like that in the middle of a hurricane for your lighting. You want to use some sort of battery-powered lantern or something like that, something that's not, that's not a flame. So anyway, that's it. Y'all be safe out there. I just wanted to throw that out there. I had a couple of thoughts cross my mind. If you had a big truck, you could park your big truck next to your trailer. I mean, if you absolutely just had to stay in your mobile home, and I think that's not wise. I certainly would not recommend staying in your mobile home. You want to get out of that thing, go stay with friends or stay at a shelter or whatever you got to do. But you don't want to be in your mobile home because it's extraordinarily dangerous. And that's about all I got. My name is R. Crosby Lyles. Y'all be safe out there. It's going to be, this thing could go either way. It could be not so bad, and it could be damn terrible. They're talking about having power outages all up and down the state, all across the state. So, let's don't do anything stupid. I mean, you know what I mean? Just keep it in the road. You know what I'm saying? Just let's be safe out there and be safe. That's it. See you. God bless. My name is R. Crosby Lyles, and this has been News from the Can.